Okay. So this is broadcasting live. So if you're going to say anything bad about anyone, just be careful. Just so you know.
So do it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Try not to. Yes, we like to keep it family friendly.
Could have said something worse.
Hopped on, and then when I got out, he was thinking I'm like, the machine wasn't working, so I don't even care. I was like, all right. So I got there for free. He's from Egg Harbor to Linden.
HDMI I put on the desk there, so.
It was $425. That was free. No, no, exactly, because I was going to pay for it, but the thing wasn't working. So then I wasn't going to tell him, so I just went on.
Or is this a podcast?
One way, I think it was one way. I'm not sure. Because it wasn't working, so I was in a rush. So I was rushing and it wasn't working, so I just saw 425. So, well, I just went. Yeah, it probably was just
So it was like a questionnaire.
one way now, round trip. Yeah. So, but I checked the club is. Hey, walking. So we definitely go to that bitch.
So yeah, we get to.
I'm gonna definitely go to it. So it's a walking distance.
What's that?
Yeah, of course. I'm like, of course. Like I said, I was planning on to get my dick wet. So I was like, whatever happens tonight, I was like, I gotta have my ID. I can't go to the club or something or a bar without my ID. I came prepared. Got my jacket and everything. Like I'm ready for everything.
All right. Let's see here.
Yeah, I came ready. My jacket. I came ready today.
At the same time, does it sound right?
Is there what?
Oh no.
Well, take some out of your You can swap them out.
Okay, we are almost there. How much time? 6 minutes?
I got 443.
All right. Okay.
There is no stairs.
I spent all this time on the slide.
Stairs.
They role played our mic stand.
Single song of sixpence.
Yep.
If the nurse comes down, I made it.
Well, then it won't. Okay. Sorry. Here's our official.
I got a great picture. Safi. Safi.
I don't know.
The role players can also wish that away.
don't know why our display is not working, and we don't have tech support, so we're going to start anyway. Welcome to our panel. This is our second panel we had here, and at Fan Expo Philly, sorry. And sorry, I'm sidetracked by our screen not working. But if you're just getting here, thank you very much. We can't get our we mainly just do video for this. It's filled in from HDMI. I didn't know.
Go beyond.
Beautiful.
You have audio?
This
Look at that background.
This mic is
Okay. Do you have audio or video?
no, I don't have audio. I don't need any audio or video. I just need. And this mic's not working. It doesn't appear to be. Is it still? No, they're picking me up. Testing 1, 2. Nope, doesn't sound like it. Well, they had it all torn apart.
Oh, is that like a slideshow?
Yeah, they were role playing people here. So. Okay, so I'm going to start talking. My name is Mike Hinton. I am the father of Zoe and Sappy Hinton. I have raised. Oh, I was there for a minute.
Out again.
I've raised my kids with Star Wars. Zoe cannot be here. She runs a podcast called Star Wars Geek Girl. She runs a website, but she has followed her joy of Star Wars and actually got a job at Paramount, which I know is a Lucasfilm, but she got a job in LA working in film, something she's worked towards her entire life. So she's going to be here in spirit. And I am joined by, and I'll let everyone introduce themselves and then we'll get started.
I'm Sappy Hinton, Mike Hinton's daughter. I'm a costuming since I was 4 years old. Right now I do a protocol droid, 000, if anyone knows him from the comics. Also, I made this on DVD. So it's kind of what I'm good at.
She's the black sheep of the family. She strays away from Star Wars also.
Sometimes.
And my name is Ken Bishop. I'm not related to the Hintons at all, formally. However, I managed to be adopted by them spiritually, I should say. I'm also the co-host of the Inflatable Falcon. I run my own podcast called The Rambling Star Wars Family, and I've been a member of the Mando Merc since 2020. So if you happen to see a Mando this afternoon in black flake suit and silver Beskar, then that was me, Kenneth Dark. So take it away, Mike, and get us around.
Yes, okay, so the theme of this was, having a growing family using Star Wars, and it's changed a lot. I cried a lot the last couple of weeks because my daughter moved to LA, and it was very difficult. I'm happy for her, but it changed my thoughts of this, and then when the Bad Batch finished up, and you had Hunter and Omega, that last shot when, I'm sorry, if you haven't saw Bad Batch, I'm sorry for spoiling it. So I'm a good parent to one kid, and not so good parent to another. I'm sorry, I talked to them. Anyhow, that last scene where Hunter said he was always going to be there for her, and he knew that she didn't need him. That's what I'm going through right now. And so this next stage of our family in Star Wars is we're growing our family like with people like you, people that love Star Wars, people that identify with Star Wars. We're trying to expand the positivity of Star Wars, and I want everyone to hear, like at the table, to talk about like what Star Wars has brought into their life, and we won't spoil any of Bad Batches. Okay, so Sappy, give us an overview of what Star Wars has brought into your life from a young age. Well, what's your first memory of Star Wars?
The carpet at the Hershey Theater when I was in my Jawa, because I couldn't really see. And so I remember the carpet really well. Like, it was my first fruit. But costuming has just always been there for me. My main thing in Star Wars is the costuming, but I love all the different stories you can tell, how like the world building and stuff. I'm getting one of my friends into Star Wars right now. Yep. But yeah, it's nice to see the community grow. I love seeing new more stuff, and just all the positivity that it can bring. So.
And did you play with the toys? Because that's one of the memories I
Oh
have.
yeah, my Zoe, my sister and I, we had like all these different action figures. I forget what the clones and walkers are called, the six legs. But we had one of those, and we had a bunch of different of the ships, like that they drop ones off, and we had a bunch of those, and we'd set up like these little like droid and clone armies and have them like fight and stuff. We had the sand crawler for the Jawas. Oh my god, it's so much stuff. We have Millennium Falcon still.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's just always been a part of my life, like growing up.
Yeah, so I'm a child from the 70s, and so I don't remember life without Star Wars in it. And it started off with toys, playing in the backyard and telling stories and showing them to your friends on the bus or, in school during lunch when you can actually bring them out and play with them. And then as I grew up and started a family of my own, having these little adventures with them and buying the toys to them and seeing the excitement in their lives and in their eyes. And then there was this weird twist, this weird moment where Star Wars wasn't cool anymore. So they sold all their toys back to me. So I have all of their toys that I bought for them. They're now as part of my collection as an older child. So how about you, Mike? What are some of your?
Well, my first memory was just just seeing Luke Skywalker, binary sunset. That was one of my first memories. I was raised by my grandparents. He was raised by his aunt and uncle, and it was the first time I saw it. That it wasn't really a plot point. Really, I mean, it kind of was, but as a kid, they didn't make a big deal. It was like an after-school special. How we had and it just connected. And then the stormtrooper the first stormtrooper I saw, I just wanted stormtrooper armor forever. And then, so this is where the family goes. So then I met my wife, and I said this before, and I was just saying it up on the con floor. Nowadays, what is considered a dating pickup line would make sure you never got a date when I was young. Like if you said to a girl, hey, you want to go to a comic book convention, or would you like to go play Dungeons and Dragons? They would never speak to you again. Okay? But now that's like a good date for a couple of people, So and so when I met my wife and she was okay with, my weirdness and stuff, that I knew that I would stick with her.
You found the one.
I found the one, right? I proposed to her with Amazing Spider-Man 289 when Peter Parker proposed to Mary Jane. So she knew what she was getting into. Like, it was not a surprise when I said, hey, guess what? I think the girls would make really good Jawas. Because my wife, as part of the family thing, if you look back at some of the archival videos of when we've done big parades in Korea, we're all in costume, no one knows who anyone is, and we all love Star Wars, and then my wife is walking along herding the Jawas. My wife, who's a private person, is walking down Broad Street during Lumber's Parade in 15-degree weather, and the rest of us are all in costume. So my wife she might not admit to being as much of a fan as she is. She's the one that herded Jawas. She's the one that I would randomly see reaching into a Darth Vader costume to help adjust a certain strap, and that's just what family does for each other. And so when I talk to Ken, John can't be here, he's our co-host. I talk to podcasters like my outlet for Star Wars has become costume making, even more than wearing. Like I've made way more costumes now. I still only have one official Star Wars costume, but it's just how I release my Star Wars and podcast. Ken and I podcast every week. Almost. I would say in the last 2 years, probably missed maybe 4 or 5 weeks.
Maybe.
Yeah. And we talk Star Wars. Sappy and I have a podcast that just kind of went dormant when COVID hit, called KoreaCast. Sappy and I are going to do a father and daughter podcast on costume. Because if you look at her, as much as I make fun of her for not doing Star Wars costume, that's a made by hand on a phone Fallout costume. So she has some really good skills that, we want to share. As a family, we just want to share costuming ideas, we want to share Star Wars. And I would say if we fast forward through all of our past of Star Wars and we get to 2015, when Star Wars kind of came back, that was just so exciting for me. because I knew my girls were not going to get made fun of for school anymore for liking Star Wars. I knew that my students wouldn't walk in my classroom and see a Star Wars poster and think there was something wrong. It was just neat
Well,
to
damn.
see people embrace it.
And with this theme of family, do you think that there are, which moments in Star Wars related to family do you think are most memorable and showing up in your life?
What do you think, Sam? Okay, some of my favorite family parts, and it coincides with the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, was Jar Jar. Like, there was Jar Jar. I like Jar Jar from the beginning. Now, again, I've said this in many panels and many things. I also like the Star Wars Holiday Special. So that might make me gauge. That might make me gauge my love of Star Wars. But I liked Jar Jar when I first saw Phantom Menace because we all have. Oh, nice. We all have Jar Jar in us. Like we all have that Jar Jar moment where we maybe tripped in front of the wrong person or we saved the student something, and Qui-Gon and all those other people at first were annoyed by it, but then accepted him for what he was. So I know Qui-Gon because he had a little bit of line. The rest of them seem to accept Jar Jar. That's one of my family moments.
For me, one of the family moments that I find really powerful is not necessarily the blood family, but for those of you who watch Star Wars Rebels, the entire Ghost crew, you know, this is a gang of people that got together and stuck together and supported each other through really tough times. So even though it wasn't blood relationships,
Yes.
you know, they still trusted and relied and respected each other. It kind of makes me think of my family have exceptional things like that. No matter how challenging things can be, we're still connected by truth.
All right, Sam, we give you time.
I'm like you.
Well, I guess it's because I really love droids. I dress up as a droid, and like I was R2's
I'm just saying, he's on the screen.
R2's like my favorite Star Wars character still, and R2 and C-3PO always reminded me of my grandparents, because my grandfather was a little more sassy and like brave and stuff, I guess, and then C-3PO was more like my grandmother, like a little more sheepish, I guess, and that dynamic just always made me think of them, and they're no longer good, so it's just seeing the two of them interact just makes me so happy.
I can't unthink that.
I thought that for you.
You've never told me.
Oh, I thought I told you. Sorry. But this isn't really family, but in the Bad Batch, sorry, this might be spoilers, but when Omega goes and releases all the animals, I have a lot of pets, and like seeing her go that set for like her pet, just I really I don't know if anyone else would, but I really love that.
If we were in the Star Wars universe, she would probably have a do-bag or possibly a Zilla Beast. So,
You actually went one step further with passing the Star Wars family, which is named after
Oh yeah, my Tengu, it's one of the big, it's a semi-big lizard, it's named after Rose Tico, so her name's Tico, and I got it from Rose City Reptiles, so like, it ties in.
there you go.
One of my reptiles we named after Star Wars character.
Well, and Ken's, the family part, especially Rebels, if anyone's seen Rebels, I hope I don't spoil this for Rebels for you, but it ties in with the Ahsoka. No, it might spoil it for you. The Ahsoka. When Sabine was training with, was it Fenrir? No, with the dark saber, and then Kanan. No, then the Mandalorian gave her. He explained to her how to use the gauntlets to counter all the parts and stuff. Like, I saw that with my daughter. Like, I saw that with Zoe was just coming to that age where like I couldn't do all the stuff for her, and I felt that even more this week when she moved to LA. And I saw that, and it reminds me of all of you that I know personally and all of you that I don't know personally are family members to my child. Like, Zoe has moved out, so me and Sappy can't help her anymore. But the Mando Mercs, if you go upstairs, there's the Mando Mercs up there. The Mando Mercs in LA watched out for my daughter when she was living there in college, and now they're watching out for her now. So Star Wars, besides what's on the screen, I see family coming together, you know, with a common interest. Anything to add to that, Ken?
Actually, it brings up another question. You guys have done a lot of great things for Hinton Star Wars. What are some of those really, really memorable moments that you've been a part of? Other than Jaws, you've definitely heard the Jaws story. What are some other moments where you're like, that was such a powerful thing that I probably know? And if you want to think about it, I can share a couple.
Yes, share some of yours.
So, when Heather and I got involved together and became that whole family, one of the greatest parts was during the sequel show. And so what we made a point of is I would buy 2 sets of tickets. So one set where we'd all go together as a family, and then another set was just one ticket, and I would watch it again right after. But we were watching the Force Awakens as a family. We saw it on the very first viewing of the movie, and when we came out into the lobby, Eric said, the lobby is packed. Eric turns to us. I can't believe they killed Han Solo. Spoiler! That was on the night. We legitimately put a jacket over his head and tucked him out of the room. Because we were really scared that a lot of people were going to get mad. But it was just so innocent. They killed Han Solo in the lobby of the opening night of the movie.
Well, and I'm looking at our costume slides, and there's a slide, I don't know if I put it on here, but Sapphire is 000, and if you've ever worn a protocol droid, which there's very few people that have, you're very restricted. And there was a little girl out in Pittsburgh that wanted to see 000 when she was in a stroller, and I remember Sapphire bending down, and I know what pain she was in, because when we take the armor off and we see all the marks, she bent down to make sure she could, like, meet that child in a 000 costume. And as a father and a droid builder, I was pretty proud, you know, that my droid and coming from Triple
That's actually what I was going to say.
Oh.
So you stole that from me. But I was also going to say, I met Chris Bartlett, who does a lot of the droids and the newer stuff, and he
I got yelled at.
because I wear it for about 6 hours, like on average. It's been a while though, but this meeting and like see someone who really appreciates all the effort that goes into like wearing one of those suits and for you making it, obviously, just like meant a lot. And also, I was having like some troubles with like getting into like college or like it's things that work out. Now that I realize not many people can wear a suit like that, so that's like something I'm gonna get involved in. So it's potentially intimidating for me. As long as you don't make me talk.
Right, this is the most you'll hear Sally talk until we do a panel next year. She saves all her words for our panels.
And the reports we just put
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the girls growing up doing charity with the 501st, and I would recommend anyone, if you're even remotely interested in this, you have to be somewhat remotely interested in Star Wars because you're here or you're just really tired and sort of this room, which is fine either way. But if you're remotely interested in Star Wars, I would look into the costume groups, the droid builder groups, because for me, as a parent, I had something to do with my kids every weekend from the age of 4 until their 20s and beyond. And there's not many parents that can say that, you know, because they go in and out of their kids' life and stuff like that. So I would say that, but the bigger piece that I really liked about that is I taught, and I didn't do this on purpose. This is more I'm like you know, Monday morning quarterbacking in a lot. But they got to learn how to do charity anonymously. Because too many people do something good, but then you have to hear about how they did something good. Where the girls would go see kids who dressed as Jawas, and then we would sit down and walk out, and they never knew who it was. Or 000, the girl that she bent down and took that picture, that girl probably will never know who Sappy is, but she'll remember the 000 spent some time. So, you know, that's the one thing if I would say out of all the costume groups, just check them out. And they have a nice display upstairs. This isn't like a commercial. We're just helping the droid builder. But they put a lot of time and effort to just really, you know, share the love of Star Wars. And all of you, I mean, I'm glad you came here. You came to hear a panel, and I'm appreciative of it. And we're just trying to talk about, you know, the family. We have probably John, who can't be here, we consider him like, I don't know if you consider him a brother or a younger cousin. He's much younger. He's close to my kid's age, he's become a good friend, and he's family, and his father has become family. And if you follow John, the best car bucket, he got his dad, our first episode. We said to John, "You think your dad would ever wear a costume?" His dad's my age. And he said, "No, I don't think that'll ever happen." His dad has at least two approved costumes in the 501st.
With several more in the works.
And they're face costumes. Like I don't, other than here, I'd rather be a stormtrooper. No one knows who I am. Okay? He does Krennic and General Veers. He does them awesome. And he never thought he'd do a costume. And that's the power of family, power of Star Wars.
Well, do you think there's time to have the folks ask some questions?
Yes. So.
Does anyone have any burning questions that they'd like to ask?
Wait, before we do some questions, should we do one drawing?
Yeah, we can do that.
So, should we do dark side or light side drawing? Who wants dark side? When you see what I mean, dark side and light side, you might be upset. Light side. I think dark side wins. So really, we have a white one that's the light side. It's a Royal Guard helmet cast, but we have a Darth Vader. Okay. So I'm sorry we didn't have any official way of tickets, so we have some oddball ways to pick. So if you don't know what these are, pick one of these cards.
This is going to help us pick the winner.
This will help us pick the winner. So what's it say? Well, you right here, read my writing. Okay, here we go. Does anyone have a Star Wars tattoo? Okay. Anyone else with a Star Wars tattoo? I don't know. Should we let you win, Matt? We can't let Matt win. So no one has a Star Wars tattoo? Okay, we're gonna get on. Because Matt, so while we're doing this drawing,
I just want everyone to know that
don't okay. Listen.
she's still tattooed with two kids.
Okay. I was writing it. It is. Oh yes.
Is that the beginning you did?
Yeah. I just was writing and walking and singing. So anyway, Matt's gonna be on our panel tomorrow. We're going to talk about his movie, The Han Solo Chronicles. So if you were here tomorrow, okay, then you can't read. How many is this your first con? Oh my lord. Okay. All right. So we're gonna now. How many of this is your first? Let's. Okay, you gotta stand up. You have to stand up. If it's your first con, stand up. So we're gonna have some people sit down. You not yet. Okay. How many's birthday is this month? If your birthday is this month, sit down. I mean, stand up. If your birthday is this month. All right, so we have, okay.
Sit down if your birthday is
No, stand up if it's your birthday is this month.
Remain standing.
Remain
If your
standing.
birthday is in May.
Remain
stand
standing.
Okay,
Everybody
otherwise
else?
sit down.
Everyone else sit down. All right, so we have birthdays in May. Is anyone's birthday today? No one's birthday? So when's your birthday?
12.
When's your birthday?
15.
I think the 12th is closer.
Her birthday kid.
25th.
That's my birthday.
All right. Your birthday is closer.
Mine?
Yes. I'm sorry. We threw a bunch of ways to get that, and we just had to figure out how to get it. So we'll have another giveaway at the end. But questions? Anyone have a question? Comment? Anyone have questions for us? Yes.
What's your next new costume that you're going to make?
Well, if you listen to our show on Wednesdays, they make fun of me for having a million costumes going on. So right now I'm working on a Darth Vader. So I'm only 5'10" if I'm lucky. So I just finally got the lifts to get me up to about 6'3", and I just have to finish my chest box and belt box. I have everything else done. So hopefully Darth Vader, I would say this year, because my kids are doing it, I'm working on 2 Sabines and a C-3PO. So they always take precedence to me. How about you, Safi?
Probably but I don't have any Star Wars costumes I'm gonna work on. I do have a Skyrim one, Dawn Guard, if anyone's seen that. And
Go ahead.
the T-60 set from
I know nothing about it. All right, Ken, what's your next?
So I'm in the process of working on a director credit Narkina 5 prisoner costume, a post-imperial custom mandalorian, a Din Djarin season 1 pre-Beskar, and I've managed to convince Heather to get the costume. So I'm helping her with season 1 Bo-Katan costume. So just a couple. Oh, I forgot, and a Tusken Raider.
Yes.
And a Tusken Raider.
Yes.
Pick droid.
And a bit, well, yeah, that's not, you can't wear it.
We'll take that one.
But that is a good point to just bring in family again. We, the 501st does it too, and sometimes at my house, we just get a bunch of people together and we build costumes. And it is so much fun that we rarely get that much costume building done, but we get to hang out and talk about stuff. Like, we had these grand plans of all building Tuscans, and I think we got about a tenth of it done. But it's just another reason why, because I think as family, when I say family again, just take that as your friends or whatever is what gets you through the day. I think as you get older, you have less reasons to get together. And you have more excuses why not to get together. You know, all of us have had that phone call where you talk to someone, and then the next time it's like 2 years later. So, and Star Wars is one of those things that it doesn't happen. Like, again, if you're sitting in the audience and you think you could do a podcast, we don't think we can do a podcast. We just do it. You know, sometimes we have one person listen, sometimes we have less. But we did a rerun last Wednesday. I put a rerun on because we were getting ready for this. We got more subscribers on a rerun than when we show up. So, but what I'm saying is, don't put it off. You know, like I get to talk with Ken and John every Wednesday. It's almost like an appointment for friendship. You know, so and how many people in your life that you like? If you miss a week and then 2 weeks and then a year, if you find that common, and Star Wars has so much. Like there's so much to like about Star Wars. Like everything is like a chapter. You can find something that fits whatever you like. You know, from special effects to animation to books. The books are becoming better and better all the time. The comics, all that stuff. So.
And the conventions become an extension of family too.
Yes.
So things like Fan Expo happen every year, or even some of the smaller ones that are local. It gives you a chance to catch up. I mean, I can't even explain how happy I am whenever I come to a convention, get ready to get up, and I see my buddy, you know, Rick, and he just comes over and gives me this big hug, like we haven't seen each other in years, and it's just wonderful to be able to come into this big auditorium with all of this stuff, and there are folks there giving you a big old bear hug because they know you're going to be in costume soon.
Yep.
Out there making things fun.
Right. And when we did Star Wars celebrations in London this last year. I don't know how in the world we managed to go. We just threw it together. But we had met some of our Star Wars people that I had known online for years. From, you know, I met a gentleman who I had worked on C-3PO parts since the COVID. And then when he started talking to me, he was speaking in German. All this time, I didn't realize, like, we were typing back and forth, and he had, you know, and that's a person that was like an extended family. So, you know, I can't say enough about Star Wars or fandom. Like we're mainly talking Star Wars because that's what it falls in our family. But Savvy does Fallout. Some people do other things. Find a fandom, and this is the best time to be in fandom. Like you're not really looked down upon for, you know, wearing a superhero shirt at my age anymore. So, yes.
Have you had any luck or experiences where there's other fathers like you that got their kids involved locally, or have you just found that relationship in the 501st kind of community?
You know,
builder community?
I haven't, but I bet you there's more now. Like a gentleman I work with, he saw what I did with my kids, and it's a little easier now with 3D printing and with availability of resources, and he's kind of doing it with his son. But when my girls came up, the bad part was they made it look so easy, then parents would like force their kids to be a Jawa, and being a Jawa is tough. You know, you're putting them in a really thick, heavy robe and stuff on their face, and so I haven't had the luck of many kids and parents liking Star Wars stuff until recently.
Yeah.
I was always the weird teacher that liked Star Wars. Yes, sir.
What's your favorite character in the Star Wars universe? Like your number one.
Well, you know, I was going to say it goes back and forth. It goes back and forth with Vader, which I know, you know, I did a lot of terrible things, but the Vader character, when I first saw him as a kid, he was really cool. Fett was always, like, I'm old enough to, I had to mail order Boba Fett, so I had to toy way longer before I knew who he was. So he was a whole bunch of things before I saw him. How about you, Seth?
R2.
Yeah, she's a droid maniac.
My favorite was old Ben Kenobi. When I was a kid in elementary school, they would go around and name everyone's name attendance. And when I was younger, they called me Kenny, and they would say Kenny and then the last letter, or the first letter of your first name. So Kenny B. That's what they said in class. And for the longest time, I thought they said Kenobi. So Kenny B or Kenobi. That's why.
Now, who's your favorite?
It would probably have to be,
It floats for him.
Omega. It either has to be the whole Bad Batch or Omega.
Okay, well, that's good. She might be bad, but you don't.
But Crosshair, Crosshair is my favorite.
Crosshair. Well, depending on what episode, your dad might be a little worried.
I'll take care of him.
That's a great question. Anyone else have any questions from the
It's funny because my wife, my fiance, my girlfriend, my fiance, now my wife, we both saw Star Wars that first summer. First Star Wars. Like 500 miles away. And that's all we were talking about when we got back to school.
That's awesome.
And we, and the rest of the family, were brought up on it. In fact, we're trying to downsize. We're going through the basement. I have a box full of Star Wars toys that the kids outgrew. And it's just amazing how that. What's that?
Do you need a place for them to go?
No. No, the place is going to go is eBay. But, and my son, my daughter, it's always been a real family thing for us. Every movie that comes out, we see it. I just went through, I didn't see the last season was Clone Wars. Not Clone Wars, the Rebel.
Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch, yeah.
You will really like it.
Oh, I love it. I love it so far. But I was very sad to see that it was going to be the last season. It's a good character. But it's really everybody in my house. And we get strange looks sometimes when we're talking to people. But, who cares?
Oh, yeah. Well, my wife has been so gracious to pretty much give me large pieces of the house to fill with Star Wars stuff. And so, yeah, she let me build a round four-way that was like an interior of the Falcon. So,
And then the Jared table.
And then I have this Jared table, so I have a sliding door that looks like one of the ones from Mos Eisley. So, she's tolerant of all my stuff. But yeah, it is a nice common thread, and I think you could look into like the hero's journey and all that, how it was written. But I think part of it was just when it came out, it was just so cool. Like for me, I just knew it was going to be part of my life. I wish I would have known walking into the movie theater how it was going to change my life at 9 years old or something like that. So.
Well, did you ever think that you would actually be involved in the movie?
No. So when we have the Han Solo Chronicles again coming tomorrow, and we can talk more about that. But yeah, my life would have been much better if I would have known how much Star Wars was going to be in my life at this age. Because you go through those times in your life and you just need, something to get through. And our podcast, so we have time. Our podcast is called The Inflatable Falcon, right? We based the name. Has anyone ever seen the Magic Jump? To me, this would be the ultimate family product to have. It's nearly a life-size inflatable Millennium Falcon that is a bounce house. Okay?
It's the size of half a basketball.
Yes. It is. If you want to get one, it's about 10 grand. Okay? So, but if you're thinking of camping, it's probably a good tent. You could use it for a tent or a summer home.
Or if you're ever kicked out of the house.
No. And at our podcast, we actually had one of the upper salesmen that worked for Magic Jump on our and it was neat how much they loved Star Wars, because if you watch, when you're done here, or if you just don't feel like listening to me now, get on your phone, look up Magic Jump Inflatable Millennium Falcon. They put so much detail in that. It just shows that a company has love for Star Wars. Like it has that weird bed that's behind the chair table that Chewie doesn't sleep in or lay in until the newer movies. It has it has a chair table. It's just really neat and it's really cool. And so we based our podcast name on that. And now, if you've given all your money to charity and you still have that extra money laying around, we do have a GoFundMe to buy. And in our GoFundMe, we promise you absolutely nothing. Like, other than you could possibly see 3 grown men bouncing around. But I mean, that's the family of Star Wars. Like, we know no one's going to donate money to help us buy a Millennium Falcon, but it's, well, they might, okay, they might. But that's just the fun of Star Wars. It's the love of Star Wars. It's what keeps the family going. On a bad day, if you're having a bad day, you have whatever Star Wars is yours. If it's Rebels, if it's New Hope, if it's the holiday special, if now they have the Young Jedi Adventures for small kids, which is really awesome. Even if you're an adult, if you haven't watched that, what's the, there's the Sal does the Jedi training videos. If you have small children, go on Star Wars Kids. There's training videos to become Jedi.
The Jedi Temple Challenge.
The Jedi Temple Challenge. It's a television show where kids are competing as Jedi. There's just so much Star Wars out there that can just bring you joy and bring you together as a family. And all of you have come here again. We appreciate this. And if you check out our shows on Wednesdays, my daughter's show is Star Wars Geek Girl. Ken's show is Railing Star Wars Fan. He has been called the NPR of Star Wars podcasts. I think that's a compliment.
This is sultry voice.
Yes. Our friend John does the Railing Star Wars Fan. Or no, you do the Railing Star Wars Fan. Sorry. Best Star Bucket. John does wonderful interviews he's from Ohio. I think I said on the last panel, I met him on TikTok. So if you're a kid, please don't meet strangers on TikTok. But I met him during COVID. He was making Star Wars videos. We were making Star Wars videos, and we became friends, which is really weird because I know I'm not the TikTok demographic. But he does a really good podcast, and because of his love for Star Wars, he submitted a panel and got to do a panel in London on the Star Wars podcast ticket for only having a podcast for a couple months. So the love of Star Wars has really helped our family grow.
Speaking of growing, why don't we help somebody grow their growing?
Yes, okay. We're going to try to make this less confusing. All right, Savvy. You can't win 2 in a row.
What about him?
Okay. So this is a rough cast of an Imperial guard. You have to do a little cutting, sanding, and painting, and stuff like that. But or just paint it red, and you have a nice display piece, and you can talk about it. Pick a card, Savvy. Let me read my writing so you don't make fun of my con writing. Oh, we already did birthday. We don't want to.
Wait.
We already did birthday. Let's see.
Who has a Star Wars tattoo?
Oh, this is costume. Who has a Star Wars costume in here that is not in a costume movie? Are you in a costume movie? Huh? Costume, we got 1, 2. All right, have our costumer stand up. Stand up. We got a Rex back there. Put your Rex helmet on. We're gonna vote by applause, so then you guys can get blamed when the other people are sad. Okay? All right? So we have a Jedi in the back. We have Jedi, Rex, and Luke. Okay? So everyone, if you... Oh, are you a Sith? Okay. Clap if you want the Sith to win. Okay? Clap if you want the Jedi to win. Rex. Luke. I'm a tie between Luke and Rex. Okay, let's just do Luke and Rex this time. You have to be Team Luke or Team Rex to both good characters. Let's go for Rex. All right, how about Luke? Okay, let's flip a coin.
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Okay, so look. I don't know how. Okay. Nuka-Cola goes to Rex. So the one that says Nuka-Cola on top, and so that's the red side up goes to Rex, and the red side down goes to Luke. All right. Luke, you get your father, Darth Vader, in the crown. And is there any other questions for us? We have about 3 minutes left. There you go, Luke. Thank you. You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes.
Out of all the new shows on Star Wars, which one's your favorite and why?
Ooh, that's good.
Okay.
Ladies
I think Rebels just because I remember it better when I was really little when it first came out, and Sabine is just my sister Zoe, so it's really cool. But I just really love Rebels. I remember we watched it because it's Chopper. It was so awesome.
Did you say all shows? Or just animation?
I would say more like the animations, but all the new ones.
I like the Visions, which I didn't think I would like, but I like the variety of just a different style. Again, just remember, I like the holiday special.
I do too, it's okay.
Yeah, so I would say Visions, the last season of Visions, I think was probably one of my favorite.
I'm gonna go with Bad Batch. I mean, who doesn't like record?
It's classic.
What you got?
I just have a question for it. Do you like Rebels because it's Chopper?
Do you like it?
Because of Chopper.
Yeah.
See, he already knows you.
Yeah. I'm trying to get you to help me build a chopper, so.
That'd be so cool.
Wait, no, a helicopter or chopper?
Not helicopter.
I don't think I could build a helicopter. I mean, I could build one and have one fly. So, again, guys, thank you very much. If you can check out our podcast, we would appreciate it. Star Wars Geek Girls, my daughter who's not here. We will have CreatorCast coming up soon. The Inflatable Falcon every Wednesday. Death Star Bucket when John gets some more episodes. And the Rambling Star Wars fan with Ken. If you have any questions about anything, if you were thinking of starting a podcast, reach out to any of us. We're not experts by any means, but we will gladly help in any way. If you want to be a guest on our podcast, reach out to social media and we can help you be a guest. We have tons of fun doing that. And thanks again to everyone for coming. And
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Come tomorrow at what time we are at?
We're at 10:30 a.m. 1K1C.
Right next door.
Yes, right here on board. This is what we're going to be talking about. Part of it is Han Solo Chronicles and Ken's pink shorts.
If anyone likes Fallout, I have bottle caps up here if you want one. I'm handing out, so. And Fallout caps.
That's cool. Your helmet's insanely cool.
Thanks.
Oh.
Want to get a picture of their big winner?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Oh,
sorry. No, you're good.
And your helmet.
I'll meet you up front.
Right. More like Luke.
You again.
I'm following you.
I guess so.
Zeffy, you lied.
This is a family podcast.
I'm so sorry.
That's it.
It's